We installed some core dependencies in there, and now we can simply just start creating our application. And we'll start by creating a simple server to start it up and see how it goes. So I just want to create a simple bin folder here. I will call it bin, let's say bin folder here, and this bin folder will contain our startup file, which it will be written in TypeScript, not just pure JavaScript. In here we can see that we'll do www. It's a new TypeScript file. Actually, you can use any editor you will want to use. So if you're using something like code or like any other editor, for example, here I'm using WebStorm, and WebStorm, when you start using TypeScript file, it will point you to configure the TypeScript compiler. But I wouldn't like to configure it right now. I would like to do some pure compilations here with hand. So we have a simple bin folder here with the TypeScript file. It is not yet compiled, you can see. So in here I will just have a simple console.log and see how it generates our JavaScript for us. So I say console.log and say hello and welcome. So in here, when we save this, we can come here and say invoke. We can invoke the TypeScript compiler and say tsc, and then specify the path to the file which we wanna compile, and hit enter. And then it will automatically generate a TypeScript file. You can see it generated a JavaScript file here. We're not doing anything very specific, so it just take our pure JavaScript and emit it. TypeScript is just a superset of JavaScript, so any compilation it does, it just, you can just take your plain JavaScript, only very minimal changes you can do. Sometimes you don't even need any changes, it will just work as perfect as it is. So in here we set it up, but we'll need to set our folder so that TypeScript will understand that it's like a project file for TypeScript. So to do that, we'll set up at something called tsconfig. So I will add my tsconfig here, and this tsconfig will just have some basic things here. So we can see that I'm just setting the module to CommonJS, our target to ES5, setting source maps to true. It will generate files with some source maps. And if we'll do another compilation, this time we don't need to specify the file, we just need to do tsc, and it will know by using this TypeScript config file that we're making, or we have a project compilation there. And in here we can see that it generates with source map because it's reading from our TypeScript compiler that we are generating source maps. This exclude is just to exclude the node modules folder from the compilation context. And that is just the basics of some tsconfig we need. Here you can change the module system, but currently Node.js makes use of CommonJS, so it will emit CommonJS. We're setting that our target JavaScript compilation should be ES5 JavaScript, so it's just gonna be some pure ECMAScript 5, but we'll be making use of some ES6 features later on, so we'll be upgrading some of this later on. But here I just want to simple server here set up. So now that we have that set up, we can simply just do a simple run of our www.file and see what it emits. So in here I can just say node to start my server. We're not really starting a server, but we're just running some JavaScript file, and we're running the JavaScript file in bin www. So we'll just run this, and you can see it says hello and welcome, which it doesn't do anything per se, but that is currently our startup file that I just set up.